After what I can only assume Ryan Reynolds thought was a triumphant appearance on Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary, he must not have loved seeing Colin Jost come back to Saturday Night Live last night with a joke at his wife Blake Lively's expense.
Get ready for one wild ride, folks, because today we're diving headfirst into a swirl of scandal, shade, and speculation that has turned the star-studded world of Saturday Night Live, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Scarlett Johansson, and even a certain politically charged laptop saga upside down.
Also, Blake Lively's now hired a crisis PR person, the same one who attempted to help cover up Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh my goodness, it's getting crazier and crazier by the day.
Imagine the fireworks when Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively stepped onto the hallowed SNL stage for its 50th anniversary celebration. Everyone expected comedic magic, but the jokes allegedly fizzled like a wet firework, leaving viewers scratching. Their heads and the A-list couple feeling more uneasy than a cat at a dog park. Fast forward a few weeks, and SNL roars back onto the air with a vengeance. Courtesy of Colin Jost? Yes, the very Colin Jost who's married to Scarlett Johansson, Ryan's ex-wife, taking a surprising potshot at none other than Blake Lively. During a political skit riffing on Trump and Zelensky, Colin slyly remarked that hoping for a Trump-Zelensky truce was akin to Justin Baldoni wanting to, nope, I'm not going to spoil the joke.
Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
Cue gasps from the live studio audience, who seemed to collectively realize they were witnessing more than routine comedic ribbing. Instead, it felt like a direct dig aimed squarely at Blake, and by extension, Ryan, setting off a firestorm on social media as fans questioned the true motives behind this comedic jab.
You have your ex-wife's husband crack this joke, the same ex-wife's husband whose show you decided to go make your first appearance on, let him write a joke for you that bombs. I mean, the whole thing is all next level.
SNL watchers buzzed that the remark carried pointed personal undertones, especially given the messy rumor that Ryan Reynolds allegedly cheated on Scarlett with Blake back in the day.
Colin is now married to Scarlett Johansson, who Ryan Reynolds allegedly, the rumors are, cheated on her with Blake Lively.
Then, there's the added layer of complexity. It's an open secret in Hollywood that Blake and Justin Baldoni have been locked in a serious dust-up over creative control issues on a project, which some claim has devolved into a full-scale PR war.
To me, this shows SNL playing its cards of, yeah, they're clearly, they know Blake Lively is crazy.
But hold on to your popcorn, because that's only the beginning. Allegedly, in response to all the negative headlines swirling around her, Blake Lively has now hired a high-powered crisis PR rep, someone who just so happens to have ties to the infamous Hunter Biden laptop controversy after being one of the intelligence officers who openly labeled it Russian disinformation back in 2020.
Blake Lively is now hired, CIA alum, as her own crisis PR agent in the legal battle with Justin.
Yes, you heard that right. The same crisis manager at the center of that political vortex may now be orchestrating strategic moves to reshape Blake's public image, bringing a level of spin so advanced you'd think it was part of some top-secret Washington operation. Meanwhile, fans are quick to point out the glaring hypocrisy, since Blake's team once reportedly criticized Justin for having his own crisis publicist on speed dial. Yet here she is doing precisely the same thing.
Her own crisis PR team now is trying to spin all the articles in her favor. And I'm sorry, isn't that what you're accusing Justin of doing when you were out there leaking stories about him? The hypocrisy here is mind-blowing.
Insiders claim that, in the months leading up to this fiasco, tensions between Blake and Justin hit a boiling point, with some alleging that Blake's camp leaked stories painting Justin as shady or manipulative, and Justin's camp firing back by exposing details that suggested Blake was the one overreaching her authority. Remember when rumors flew that Blake's side accused Justin of hiring the same PR firm that had famously worked with Johnny Depp during his defamation trial? It was framed as if Justin was recruiting mercenary spin doctors, to quote one tabloid headline. But in reality, many observers said he was just defending himself against a wave of negative press.
It's mind-blowing how she can do this, but when Justin does it, why is he hiring a PR team to defend himself? Because you guys are in a battle and you guys were both leaking stories about each other, it seems. And he, if he was doing anything leaking, sounds like it was all in defense of himself.
Now the tables have turned, with SNL adding to the pressure by tossing that stinging line into a primetime broadcast. Blake is apparently feeling the heat. And no wonder, considering the entire world of Hollywood is now buzzing about where the loyalties lie. Could there be some deeper agenda at play on the part of SNL? Some cynics think the show thrives on controversy and star-driven conflicts for ratings. After all, it's no secret SNL has historically gone for the jugular when comedic gold is on the line. But fans are noticing how oddly personal it felt, especially because Colin Jost is not just a neutral observer. He's the husband of Scarlett Johansson, who, in the rumor mill, has been painted as a scorned ex, though the real details of that love triangle have never been fully brought to light. Some are convinced Colin was simply giving the audience a perfectly timed zinger, while others suspect an undercurrent of payback or pointed commentary that's gone on behind the scenes for years. However, it doesn't stop there, because the second half of this jaw-dropping story is all about how Blake, fresh off that scathing mention on national television, is doubling down on her own narrative. For months, we've heard about how the judge in Blake's ongoing legal back and forth with Justin shut down certain requests she made for documents she claimed were essential to prove her side of the story. In response, her team has been quick to spin it as a tailored victory, insisting that this was precisely what they wanted, even though court watchers have pointed out that the judge actually told Blake she couldn't simply subpoena everyone under the sun. Many see that as a clear legal loss. But the new crisis PR machine is apparently working overtime to rebrand it as a cunning tactic that will allow her to focus on targeted individuals without wasting the court's time. Something that cynics find laughable, but that's how public relations wars are often waged. Cast a partial defeat as an ingenious strategy. Meanwhile, industry insiders are starting to wonder if the SNL mention was more than just comedic happenstance. Could the show be telegraphing the real sentiment swirling around Tinseltown? After all, it's no secret that A-listers talk, especially when major money and reputations are on the line, and folks in the business might be quietly siding with the figure they believe has the moral high ground. Some watchers suspect that Lorne Michaels and the SNL writing team are subtly indicating which way Hollywood's power players are leaning, namely that Blake has become problematic, or at least fair game for comedic potshots. Think about how the joke could have been reversed, portraying Justin as the butt of the joke instead of Blake, but they chose to make her the comedic casualty. That's fueling speculation that many in the entertainment sphere are tired of what they perceive as Blake's manipulative PR tactics. Of course, supporters of Blake see it differently, arguing that SNL is just picking on someone who's already in a vulnerable spot. But that's precisely why she called in the big guns, a crisis manager whose resume includes attempting to deflect political scandals at the highest level, including direct involvement in downplaying the damaging aspects of Hunter Biden's laptop.
I'm torn by this because, yes, she's allowed to have one, but why were you criticizing Justin? So anything Justin does is retaliation? Anytime he defends himself, it's retaliation? Nonsense.
This revelation alone has the internet reeling, because it intertwines Hollywood drama with real-world political spin, proving once again that showbiz and politics can be uncomfortably intertwined. Some fans are now warning each other to take any new Blake-centric headlines with a grain of salt, suspecting that the next wave of coverage might be heavily orchestrated. Even so, the fact remains that Ryan Reynolds is caught smack in the middle of it all, arguably the most recognizable face in the bunch, and perhaps the one with the most to lose if this war escalates. Rumors abound that Ryan confronted Colin backstage, demanding clarity on whether that zinger was a premeditated betrayal or just comedic happenstance, with some tabloids claiming tensions reached the point that an intervention by senior SNL producers was required. Could we be on the verge of a real-life meltdown that might tarnish Ryan's famously affable, quick-witted persona? Or is he simply standing up for his wife in a scenario that has him feeling cornered? At this juncture, Hollywood watchers are glued to social media, scanning for cryptic Instagram posts or veiled Twitter rants from any of the parties involved. We've seen it happen before. A star cryptically quotes a self-help book or writes a subtle condemnation of fake friends, and the rumor mill goes ballistic. Fans are also bracing for a potential onslaught of PR-driven articles championing Blake as a misunderstood creative genius, while painting Justin, and by extension, those who side with him, as the true antagonists. If that narrative emerges in force, It'll be a dead giveaway that the crisis manager is pulling out all the stops to salvage her client's image. Amid all this chaos, viewers are left questioning the moral intricacies. Is SNL's humor crossing a line into malicious territory, or is Blake Lively simply dealing with the consequences of her own behind-the-scenes behavior? Is Ryan justified in feeling betrayed, or should he have known that edgy comedy is par for the course when dealing with a show like SNL? And how does Scarlett Johansson really feel about all of this, knowing full well that her current husband is taking public swipes at her ex-husband's current wife? Is this an act of vigilante karmic, justice, or just TV ratings gold? Ultimately, the biggest cliffhanger might be the next move from Blake's crisis PR guru. If this person was capable of steering public opinion regarding something as explosive as a presidential scandal, then swaying the entertainment press is likely child's play. Viewers may notice a sudden shift in coverage, with journalists either praising Blake's benevolence and brilliance, or going suspiciously silent on criticisms.
You have your ex-wife's husband crack this joke. The same ex-wife's husband whose show you decided to go make your first appearance on, let him write a joke for you that bombs. I mean, the whole thing is all next level.
Meanwhile, Justin could find himself on the defensive again, forced to confront new accusations or revelations that suddenly surface. Accusations some believe are orchestrated purely to further Blake's agenda. One thing is for certain, this labyrinth of X's, comedic barbs, hush-hush PR strategies, and covert references to major political controversies has carved a path of intrigue unlike any run-of-the-mill Hollywood feud. So, where does it all lead? Will we see a grand public apology on next week's SNL? Will Ryan and Blake wage a full-blown legal war, claiming defamation or emotional distress from that biting jab on live television? Or will they simply let the crisis manager quietly bury the story under a mountain of contrived tabloid leaks and gossipy misdirections? Only time will tell, but there's no denying that this explosive mixture of personal history, comedic roasts, and behind-the-scenes power plays has fans on the edge of their seats, voraciously refreshing their social media feeds for the next snippet of scandal. Which brings us to you, dear viewer. What's your take on this swirling maelstrom of SNL shockwaves and PR one-upmanship? Do you think Colin Jost was justified in using Blake Lively as punchline fodder, or did he cross a red line that could fracture relationships off-screen? Are you Team Reynolds Lively, or Team Jost Johansson, or perhaps Team Who Cares, It's Just Comedy? Let your voice be heard in the comments. Was this comedic gold or a personal low blow? And while you're down there, remember to hit that like button if you enjoy these deep dives into Hollywood's juiciest controversies, subscribe if you want to stay in the loop the next time a scandal unfolds, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. After all, the saga is far from over, and we'll be right here, ready to spill every last drop of tea as more details emerge about the hush-hush crisis PR ops, the rumored revenge motives fueling SNL's jabs, and the fate of Ryan and Blake's carefully curated public image. Thanks for tuning in. And get ready, because the next wave of celebrity surprises is always just one leaked phone call, one scathing TV monologue, or one cryptic tweet away. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay entertained. All right, show's over. Hungry for more twists? You know where to find us. Keep that popcorn hot, we'll handle the drama. Want to catch the next showdown in real time? Hit subscribe and buckle up.